If you're not willing to talk about polygyny, if your husband wants to practice it, or if he is practicing it, then you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, I want our marriage to manifest into this beautiful marriage, but you're going to do all the work. I'm not. I'm going to wait on you. That's not how that works.
Salaam alaikum, peace. I'm Coach Nazir.
And I'm his wife, Coach Fatimah.
And I am Coach Nyla. I am also his wife.
We are your favorite relationship and polygyny coaches and founders of outstanding personal relationships, as well as authors of the new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Today's topic is really related to some reasons that you may be failing at polygyny. If you're intending to practice it, or if you are practicing it, there's some reasons that kind of heavily lean on why you may be struggling pretty much, or also known as failing.
So whether you're failing, well, we're using the word failing, but it could be on the verge of failing. It could be you're spinning your wheels, you're in the same never-ending loop, like you're in Groundhog Day or something like that, and you want better, but you're trying to figure out why we're not improving, why we're not moving forward, or whatever the case may be, or why we are in this never-ending carousel of arguments and frustration and challenges and blah, blah, woo-woo, and all that other good stuff, or not so good stuff. One of my things, or I guess I should say three things, but it comes that I think about is lack, lacking. So when you're lacking these things, you're on the verge of failing in your polygynous marriage, or your marriage period, because it doesn't even matter whether you're in polygyny or not. And what I mean by lacking responsibility, meaning lacking the ability or lacking the desire to take responsibility, lacking clarity of where you want to go, what it should look like, and all those other good things, and lacking taking action, because we're probably looking for someone else to do it for us. So I've seen that a number of times where it's like, well, I'm upset, he got to make me happy, or, she's not understanding this and she has to fix this, so these type of things where it's easier to place blame than to take responsibility. It's easier to talk about what other people are doing wrong or not doing right than to put the mirror up to ourselves and say, you know what? Am I taking action on this? Am I taking responsibility on this? Do I even have clarity on this? We train on the marriage mission statement in a number of our programs. And that's one of the ways of gaining clarity, having a mission statement, having a marriage mission statement. What do you want that to look like? When there are challenges, when challenges arise, how are we going to move forward in it? When we have a disagreement, spirited debate or argument, if you will, how do we discuss that? Can we calm down? Do we have a code word? Do we have a touch or a look or something that say, let's shut this down right now and come back to it later? So not going to get into no whole training about it, because you can find that information in our programs. But yeah, my idea of why a lot of polygynous marriages are on the verge of failure or are starting to fail is because of a lot of lack.
Well, Coach Nyla brought up a really great point about lack and the lack of communication. One thing I learned, for example, so if we talk about, communication, how am I lacking? What are some signs of that? One way is that you don't communicate. One way you can lack is not having hard conversations. And with hard conversations can come hard answers, or difficult, challenging answers, because we're afraid of change because we don't know, we don't have the clarity. And sometimes our husbands don't have the clarity. And it's okay if they say, well, I don't know yet. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I'm not sure, but I'll find out. We have to give time for that to happen. We have to block out time to have the hard conversation. So if you're not willing to have the conversation, if you're not willing to talk about polygyny, if your husband wants to practice it, or if he is practicing it, then you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, I want our marriage to manifest into this beautiful marriage, but you're going to do all the work. I'm not. I'm going to wait on you. That's not how that works. It's like in monogamy or in polygyny. To have a beautiful experience in polygyny doesn't happen overnight. It's not an impossibility. But to sit up and say, well, I don't want to talk about it at all, but I want it to be successful, though, that does not work. So have the hard conversations, and listening is part of communication. One major thing that I think we can overlook when we start to overthink is that when our husbands talk about polygyny, whether they're practicing it or they want to, we have to understand that their experience is not our own. And the way they communicate is not the way we communicate. They might say way less. They might say way less, and that's all right. At least the floor is open for the conversation and making a safe environment for that conversation to happen. So definitely be willing to participate in a difficult conversation. That's a good behavior.
Indeed, the more delay that continues to go on, or the more blaming or playing victim that continues to go on, the more challenging your life is going to be. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of really anything that was really worthwhile where there wasn't some type of struggle or challenge to really achieve it. All right, whether that's travel, whether that's giving birth, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of ups and downs in travels. And we know this, we like to see it. We see it in movies, we read it in books. You have the drama, then you have the whole climax, you have this and that, you have the tragedy, and then you have the triumph, you have all kinds of stuff, right? To touch each and every one of your emotions, to feel, which is living life. One of the things I believe is challenging, especially coming from the man's perspective, is the ability to stop wishing. I came across a quote a while ago, and it said, a wish changes nothing, but a decision changes everything. So a wish changes nothing, and a decision changes everything. People wish all the time. I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Oh, that'd be great. I had more. I need them. Listen, stop wishing, but start working. There's a big difference. So when she talked about the complaining part, all I was thinking about was one of my mentors told me, said, winners understand the importance to stop whining in order to start winning. Then that's just one of my mentors. And another one said, winners are going to find a way. Losers are going to find an excuse. So there's always this thing that has to happen. We can't wait on things to happen. We have to make them happen and do our best by moving forward. So whether it's having a hard conversation, whether it's planning out how you want your fam to look, the path that you want to be on, right? Because the man has to be the one, or should be the one, that has the vision, has the foresight, especially when it comes to polygyny. Because you're dealing with different dynamics, you're dealing with shots from everybody, dealing with different shade, but you still have to be the one that has that shield, that sword that protects the fam, and that leads that vision and leads the charge. So stopping wishing. If you want to change something, then change it. But here's the thing. Nothing is going to change at all whatsoever until you do. So if you want other things to change, then you have to change. See, another one of my mentors, he told me, Nazir, he's like, think about it. He said, what's the difference between a person who wants to make $10,000 a month and a person who makes 100,000 or 1 million or 100 million or $1 billion a month? I'm like, the amount of money, the zeros that they're making. That's what I'm thinking. That's clear because you can measure it. You can see that, right? It's the number of zeros, the commas. He said, no. He said, difference is mindset. The difference is mindset. Some people will be, excited and ecstatic to go ahead and, make their first 2, 3, 5,000 a month. Working from home, doing whatever business you want to do, which is good. It's a great goals. But if you want to make 50,000 a month, you actually have to be a totally different type of thinker. Your mindset has to be bigger. It has to be grown and expand, even if you're not there yet. Because as I'm studying, I'm taking notes from these people. I remember them telling me vehemently, say, it's best that you grow so that your money can chase and follow you. Then you not grow, you get the money, then your money comes back to you. It snaps right back and you have nothing because you didn't grow enough to keep it. Then I looked at people like MC Hammer in his days, and all the money and the waste, and then look at Mike Tyson and what he had and then he didn't have, and now he's building it back. You start looking at these different examples. You look at the Scottie Pippins, which was a mindset thing. Look, this is where I come from, this little town. The second best player in the NBA was not even getting paid hardly anything. He took a couple mil. Why? Because the mindset is that I've never seen this many zeros in my life. I took it and took a long-term contract. The Bulls know what they were doing. Gave him a bull contract. He signed it because where his mindset was at the time. You know what I'm saying? So changing that mindset from being a whiner to a winner, from being a wisher to being a worker is what changes everything. So prayerfully, you understand we gave you some jewels on how to take things to the next level, really on the conceptual level, if you will. And of course, you know, going deeper into polygynymasterclass.com and whatnot to really deep dive into it and have access to us to help us, you know, help you along that journey. But that's where it starts. And the thing is, it does not end. So as I'm talking with you, and we're talking now, just as I would ask you, know, what are you listening to right now? What book are you reading right now? Because you wouldn't expect that a doctor who got his doctor's license and was able to practice as a surgeon, let's say, for example, back in 1990, has a lot of experience now. But do you think that his information is stuck and left in 1990 what he graduated with? Is there continuing education requirements, difference in changing technology and medicine and natural cures and things that have come about? So yeah, we still have to study. We still are learning and growing ourselves. We're not doing it for you. We're really not doing it for you. We're doing it for us and our family. We're sharing it with you, but we're doing it for us. So we are continuously learning and growing, and we pray you do the same. And yeah, that's it. I don't want to get cotton mouth talking too much. Anything else y'all want to let me know? We good?
Yeah, so pretty much giving them some things that can cause it to fail, and the tips and the ideas and the work that can help them get out of that type of experience or rut or anything like that. So,
and one major last little point, stop telling yourself it's going to fail. Yeah. I mean, you got to watch what you say to yourself about yourself and your marriage.
Indeed. If you're not your biggest cheerleader, then
I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
We're adults. We gotta do this. So with that being said,
make sure you're growing intentionally,
loving fearlessly,
and connecting on a higher level every single day. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Here are 3 ways outstanding personal relationships can help you.
Make sure you guys are following us on our social medias at Outstanding Personal Relationships on YouTube and Facebook, and on IG at Outstanding Relationships.
And make sure you sign up for our email list, and you can actually email us at support@Outstanding Personal Relationships, where you will get updates on our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored, as well as exclusive access to our lives and bonuses.
Absolutely. If you're looking for more polygyny education, make sure you visit polygynymasterclass.com. Now, if you're looking for coaching or counseling with either Coach Fatimah or Coach Nyla, you can find them at.
Make sure you visit me at CoachFatimah.com.
And myself at CoachNyla.com.
That's how we can help you. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.